This is a read aloud of The Most Beautiful Roof in the World by Meg Lohman. If you're following the New York State EngageNY Common Core curriculum for grade 5, this is the read aloud of pages 2 through 4 for lesson number 1. Meg Lohman climbs trees. She's climbed trees since she was a little girl in search of insects and leaves and flowers, and now it's her job. Meg is a rainforest scientist. Her specialty is the very top of the rainforest, the canopy. During the past 10 years, Meg has spent at least 5 days a month in the treetops, which adds up to 600 days. And this does not include the approximately 10 days every month she spends at the base of the trees looking up. Meg wants to know about the relationships between plants and insects in the canopy. She's especially interested in the herbivory, the leaf and plant eating by insects and other animals. She wants to know which insects eat which leaves and how their feeding affects the overall growth of the rainforest. To answer these questions, she must spend a great deal of time either up in a tree or back in her laboratory, studying samples. Meg's lab is at the Marie Selby Botanical Gardens, a rainforest research center in Sarasota, Florida, where she's the Director of Research and Conservation. This is page 4 now. Meg cannot remember a single day in her life when she wasn't either looking at or studying a plant, a leaf, a flower, or insect, except possibly those days when she went to the hospital to give birth to her 2 sons, Edward and James. Since Meg was 6, she's been fascinated by the natural world. As a child, she has a bird's nest collection, a rock collection, and a shell collection, an insect and butterfly collection, and a bud collection. Her bedroom was stuffed with outdoor treasures. Her great love was flowers. In 5th grade, she was the only child in her class to enter the state science fair. She made a wildflower collection and won 2nd prize. When Meg was 10 years old, she was intrigued by 2 women, Rachel Carson and one of the first environmentalists who studied and wrote about the delicate relationship in the web of life, and Harriet Tubman, the most famous conductor of the Underground Railroad. Threading through the countrysides and deep woods on long, frightening nights, Harriet Tubman guided countless African Americans out of slavery to freedom. Meg read that she often navigated by feeling for moss that grew on the north side of trees. But it was not only the moss she had to look for. She had to know which berries and nuts could be eaten, which could make a difference between starvation and survival. She had to know how to find a swamp and find a swamp to plunge into when slave hunting dogs bore down. The sulfurous mud and slime could disguise a human scent and confuse the dogs. She had been attuned to the environment in order to guide her people on their perilous journey. Harriet Tubman, says Meg, was a pioneer field naturalist, one of the first women field naturalists in this country.